Hi everyone, this is something I've spoken about in the past, but I'd like to do a little video and talk about flexing. So there's going to be three things here. First of all, there's going to be testing and the correct way, or in my opinion, the correct way to test how much flex your slider system has. Then the second thing is whether that's normal, whether you actually need to do anything or whether that small amount of flex you have is just going to be fine for, for most uses. And the third thing is going to be, if you do have an issue with flexing, figuring out what the problem is and fixing it. So there's going to be several ways of testing it. I'm going to show an example here with an 80 centimeter slider. So I'm going to be 40 centimeters-ish from the center. And so if your slider is longer, just place the weight at that point and test it if you want to compare it to the same as what I'm comparing here. And this is not the strongest setup that you can get. This is one of the strongest without adding additional things connected to here. So you can get arms that connect from there to there, or from, there's various ways you can improve this, or, even just putting two tripods there. But this is a very solid system that works really well and doesn't cause any problems, but still not the most, because we still want to show a little bit of flex in this video so you can compare it to something. And this is something that I actually like working with. I'd prefer to have a system that just has one tripod in the center and that's it. So without any additional things to connect, without an arm that goes from there to there, without a monopod or something between this and the ground, etc. So, okay, first of all, the way that we can test it is take a bag that has some water in it, or of course you can just weigh your camera and put it on there and move that to the correct position. But I'm going to be testing this with bottles of water since that's very easy to replicate. So I've got 2 liter bottles here, and obviously either use 2 liter bottles or 2 kilogram weights or whatever. You can look at this, just stand there and look and see whether it's flexing, or you can set up a camera and actually press record and film it and then look at the footage on a big screen to see even the smaller differences. So plastic bag, and so we'll start off with 1. So essentially, with the weight of the average camera plus fluid head, like a mirrorless camera plus a fluid head, ideally, if you have a very good system, you'll have, I don't know, maybe a millimeter of flexing. So here I'm just looking and I'm seeing that, there's essentially no flexing. So let's add more weight. So now there's one more, so that's 2 bottles. About 4 kilograms, and once again, with a good system, you might, with 4 kilograms, quite a lot of weight, you might have a little bit of flex. And what you'll see me do in my videos is you'll see me hold it from both sides, like that and that, and I'm pressing like that. And I'm really putting pressure on it. So when I'm doing testing, I'm putting more than 4 kilograms weight on it. I'm really pushing it. But you should see a very small amount of flex. That's normal. I'm not sure if I've ever seen a slider flex. Most of the time, the slider itself holds really well, and the flex is either coming from the connection between the tripod and the slider, or from the tripod legs themselves. There's rarely any flex coming from the slider itself. So here, as another test, 3 bottles of water. So about 6 kilograms, so quite a big camera. And once again, almost no flex. But with this amount of weight, with a lot of tripod systems, I'd expect to see a little bit of flex. Now, if you're seeing a tiny bit of flex, in my opinion, it's not going to show up in your footage. If you're seeing like a centimeter flex, that's definitely too much, and then I'd definitely be looking to improve it. So if you are seeing flex, the easiest, super cheap solution is to get a stick and connect the stick from there to there, or from there to the ground. So either a monopod with a clamp or something like that, just sort of a DIY solution. And the more expensive option is to get the Canova arm, and that comes with a clip and it connects between there and there. Very nice and easy to work with, and so that's a pretty good thing, but it costs money. And then the next step up, if you're using really heavy cameras, is to have additional tripods. So you'd have one there and one there instead of one in the center, or I've never seen this done, but potentially even one in the center and one on each side if that's really needed. If you have flex in the middle of your slider, or if you're using a really big track, potentially even 3 tripods. Now, if you're seeing flex in between the items that are connected to each other, a lot of the time that's because you have a rubber sort of on the top of a tripod or something like that. There's a rubber piece to help it grip where it's connected. So a lot of the time that rubber can create a little bit of flex. And if you have multiple pieces stacked on top of each other, whether it's things that raise it up or various heads to allow it to tilt, things like that, each one of those is going to be different. So the solution is going to be to find the problem and then look at that problem specifically and see how you can fix that. Once again, the easiest thing is to go from there to there or from there to the ground, and that gives you a nice extra bit of support. Ideally from there to there, because from there to the ground doesn't give you any support over here. And from there to there does give you support over here because it prevents this from stretching. It prevents these two from moving apart from each other. So you only really need one stick from there to there to prevent that flex. And if you have it in the correct angle, then it's also going to prevent flexing this way. So if this stick is not in line with that, so if this stick is over here, so that's actually further away from that, that's also going to prevent this from spinning at least as much as possible. Now, of course, if you're working with really low quality legs, then going from there to there isn't going to help much, in which case you're going to probably want to go with multiple tripods. If you want advice about your specific setup and where I think that can be improved, then send me a photo or video. So photo on Facebook, or send me a link to a YouTube video so that I can actually look at it and let you know, because I can sort of help by just writing comments back and forth, but not that much. So thanks for watching. I hope you found this useful, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Visit my channel for lots more awesome filmmaking and photography videos, like lighting techniques, DIY projects, behind the scenes tutorials, cameras, lenses, adapters, shoulder rigs, stabilizers, flashes, LEDs, microphones, bags, straps, studio backgrounds, tripods, float heads, sliders, multi-tools, and lots more cool stuff.